The things that occurred to me just initially looking at it would be, since it's a fairly big space for a fairly small object that by itself is, not all that imposing, or I would have either thought of doing something kind of performative, maybe showing some sort of interaction with the object, or something about its manufacture, or like the sort of intellectual background of how that came to be.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
I mean, you could blow this thing up and make it an exterior.
That's what I was thinking. What if you walked into the inside of a teapot? If you could fit that into an 8x6 room, I think that you could make it.
No, I got it. Okay, so we actually, have our little stand for the teapot. And then you know how those like cutouts when you go to the zoo? And you have a hole, and then you have the same image there. So people can basically put their head in, and then it snaps like a photo of you, and you walk away with an image of the same lady at the teapot.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's so many aspects to the piece, how it was created, who created it, how it transport, how did it get here? I mean, what if we decided not to deal with the end product, but to tell it, to show people how
but
it's
to show
created,
the finished product and the timeline that gets up to it is
what it took to get that.
And we could have some type of tea that would have been, some blend of tea that would have been,
Used,
drunk
yeah.
by a person who would have owned this teapot.
And without kind of, dedicating too much reverence to it, I think we should focus on just one thing, one particular issue.
Oh, absolutely.
When entering our exhibition space, you will receive a brick of tea. The brick of tea will have imprinted on it a silhouette of our Wedgwood teapot, but it will also be wrapped in a piece of paper that will not only contain information about who Josiah Wedgwood was, but it will also contain the name of a factory worker, which gives a little bit more of the human interest side to this story.
The actual space is a teapot. So you enter through here, you walk up through these stairs and you enter into the space, and as the tea is pouring out and you're watching it pour down the screens, it pours out through here down these stairs. So people from the outside are enticed to go into it.
Well, I like all the senses. You're hearing, you're smelling, right? You're holding something. You actually feel like you're drowning, right? All this water around you. I like how it's going to restrict your body and you're confined. We're wondering, well, first I'm wondering, where's the object?
Well, I forgot that part.
What we thought was most important about this piece is that it's a hybrid piece. It's like a European, what I would call a European knockoff of this Asian design. So we thought that was really important, and what we wanted our exhibit to do was to kind of like highlight all the important factors that go into so-called hybridization.
So our space is actually a circular room, and you have one entrance on the one side and one exit. The actual entrance to the exhibit is just a blank wall with a peephole, like a porthole on a ship. And so you come up and you stick your head in the hole and you see this teapot on a table in the middle of the room. And then as you're walking through the room and you come around here, you see that the person that's sticking their head in the hole is actually framed in that scene. And so they're actually that woman drinking tea.
In all sincerity, you guys, and especially if you go into the museum world, the type of intense creative exercise you were engaged with isn't done enough in museums. And you could just see what you came up with in this short span. High pressure. You were coming up with creative ideas, trying to figure out how you balance creative modes of interpretation, creative modes of display. That's the goal. That's where all of us are convinced that the 21st Century Museum, the Art Museum, the Science Museum, especially the Deck Arts Museum, they have to head in that direction. So that's good stuff.
Well done.
Yep.